everyone, and welcome to our inaugural Undergraduate Studies Spotlights on Student Success Speaker Series, and to our fourth event of this series. Today's session will be featuring FIG through featured speaker Allison. Allison Miller is a third-year undergraduate at Florida State University, pursuing a double major bachelor's degree in psychology and philosophy. Her field experience resides in qualitative and quantitative research and data collection of anxiety disorders, psychopathy, dimensions, ERP, EEG correlates, trauma endorsements, and disordered eating. Allison presented work on the relationship between brain reactivity and affective picture stimuli and endorsements of traumatic experience to the Society for Psychosociological Research's 60th annual and first virtual conference in October 2020. The work for this project is currently being extended into an undergraduate thesis to be defended in spring 2021. In her free time, Allison enjoys cooking, reading, consuming art, and being in nature. Thank you for being here, Allison.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor. I've never really given a speech like this, so this is
good. Our student moderator for today is Liliana Reynoso. Liliana is currently a junior and majoring in fine arts while also preparing for a career in law. She is interested in arts practice, art history, and restitution of artifacts to their original cultures to work towards decolonizing museums. Thank you for being here, Liliana. I will now turn it over to Allison to discuss making the most of college.
hello. Thank you so much. This is truly an honor, as I said. So I'm going to talk a bit about making the most out of college, at least from my experience with making the most out of my college experience. My number one tip is that you should go to class. Like, really, that's kind of the biggest thing that you should do. You'll do better on exams. There is research behind. I don't have a citation for this, but I promise there's evidence. You can retrieve information better. That's learned that information that you learn in class better when you're in the same setting as testing as one was in during learning the information. While you're in class, it's also helpful to take pen and paper notes. Taking notes that are handwritten is like saying something 7 times over. And it also helps with your coordination and attentiveness during class, in my opinion. I try to participate in class as much as possible while I'm there. I feel like participating kind of helps me, if I participate in some portion of the class, it helps me remember what that information was about that I was participating in. And yeah, and it helps me remember the information. I've always done better in classes that I attend class for regularly. And keeping a schedule for when you're supposed to be in class versus not being in class kind of helps maintain your sanity, at least for me. And some evidence that I've seen for this is that how COVID attendance versus the before times attendance has been. It's a lot easier to not attend class during COVID because you're in your home, you're comfy, it's easier to just kind of not log in or even just keep your camera off and all that and not really pay attention. And I noticed that a lot of people have been struggling with that kind of form of attendance, and I'd be willing to bet that it's easier to do better when we're in person and given those kind of the chances to make those associations between the setting and the stimuli and the information learned. I also suggest that you should take classes that sound cool to you, that sound really interesting, whether they're in or out of your major. For this, if you really want to have a better time remembering info from class, you should take classes that are interesting to you. It'll help you find your passion and narrow your interests and meet like-minded people. I suggest that you take at least one interesting class per semester, because that way it has you looking forward to each semester. At least that's my experience. And So for me, taking classes that interest me prior to having taken them kind of help me tie in together the holism of my interests. So, I'm going to be taking philosophy of the arts in the spring or not in the spring, in the fall. And I'm very excited for that because before I decided on psychology and philosophy as my major, I thought I was going to art school. Chris Burden and Marina Abramovich, both performance artists, they're my favorite artists ever, and I kind of thought that I would be doing what they were doing, but I'm able to see now some overlap in what I study, and what they perform is kind of testing the body and its limits, the philosophy of mind, and other things that I'm interested in when it comes to psychology and philosophy. So I'm able to kind of tie in everything together, my whole interest. And yeah, so some other classes that I'm kind of just gonna segue into. My next point is, I took critics of religion and philosophy of science in my undergrad. And both classes have kind of encouraged me to read and write a lot and kind of spark my interest in different topics in the subjects of religion and science, which are my interests. And it's, it kind of gives you a better idea of what you may want to study, despite having a lot of challenge for things such as like translating theories into first order sentences or what have you. Taking classes that sound cool and have you write and read a lot are really kind of good for preparing you for later in life. It'll help you be a better writer, communicator, and citizen. In my opinion, exams do not translate into the real world as well as assessments of essays. You're not going to be paid for how you do on essays. You're going to be paid for how you communicate with others and how you read others and making sure that everybody's on the same page. And so better communication allows for our neighbors to be on par with each other, on par with our existence, our experiences as much as possible, which leads to engaged, compassionate citizens with a common goal and understanding. And in my opinion, it also preserves the raw beauty of humanity better than any multi-choice coded exam will. And so I also suggest that you meet your academic advisors at least once a semester. It'll help you prevent any or avoid any late term surprises. And you'll be able to find recommendations for classes to take that work for you based on your interests. Your academic advisors know way more about what classes, who takes the classes, what the classes are, the content and all that, and they should be able to kind of point you in the right direction. This is as I said, it's a place for making space to take those interesting classes. And and also for me, knowing when I'm going to be meeting my advisor next, it kind of helps me keep track of time and realize that the semester is passing. It's just another way to keep track of time, which I do love. And it also helps to find your optimal setting to get work done, to prepare for these classes. It's good to play around with your schedule and take note of the times and places you feel the most inspired, motivated. And doing so can also help you explore your campus and get more acquainted with it. I'm a full believer in not missing work with bed. I can't get work done when I'm in bed, and it also, bed starts to remind me of work if I do work in bed. And so for me, I find out that I get my best work done at night in the cubbies of the top floor of Sturgeon. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the pressure of wanting to get back to bed or get home as it's so late at night. But I end up having a really good time at bed, getting what I need to, getting done what I need to do. You should befriend your professors at office hours. Ask them why they do what they do. My favorite question to ask is, when did you realize you wanted to be doing what you're doing now? And that kind of gets you more into the conversation, and you're able to find places where you might overlap in interests with this professor. That can point you in the right direction of other classes you should be taking if you're interested in this one thing or another. You can add them to your network, maybe join their lab if that's their case, and they can potentially write you a letter of recommendation. It's good to get involved in research or in an internship in your field of interest. This could also be done through networking with professors. They might be able to help you, point you in that direction. I like to think that nothing beats learning by doing. You can learn about what people do in a research lab in classes, but you're not really going to know what is actually done, the specifics of what needs to be done, until you're actually in the lab doing those tasks. It'll show you what you do or don't like about your field. Again, narrowing down your interests. It's good practice for the real world if you might end up in that kind of position. And it also has good networking opportunities. You meet other similar undergraduates with like-minded interests and all. And you can collaborate on projects, meet graduate students that will be your next mentors, and so on. I also suggest that you should join at least one organization and go to as many meetings as possible before you graduate. This can be done maybe in place of an internship or a research position, joining a board that or an organization that relates to your professional interests. You gotta attend as many meetings as possible though to be able to reap the benefits that are akin to any internship. Preferably join an organization that has service opportunities that kind of give you a sense of what practicum work in the field would look like. And it's also helpful to, or going into more of the networking and social aspect of college. It's good. I advise my big students to, and my sister, she's going to be in college next year, and her friends to say yes to as many social opportunities as possible. Use your wise mind and know when to not overextend yourself, but college is a time to meet new people and have new experiences and make your own choices and recognize when you're able to go out, when you're not able to go out, and kind of get onto that adult-minded schedule. You can learn about who you want to have around versus who you don't want to have around. You can get introduced to new interests, organizations. That's how I've met friends that introduced me to clubs or organizations. That's how I got involved in Clubs and Under. I met a friend through another organization, Renew. Her name is Elise, and she told me that I would fit in really well with Clubs and Under. So I joined, and now I have an even greater expanded network opportunities and friends, and I'm very grateful. I also suggest that you should try to use every amenity within the college at least once. You know, these things you're not always going to have access to these resources after you graduate, so why not use them when you can? Go to the gym, use different study spaces, see a counselor or doctor while you can, while it's cheap or has a benefit of being a student, and take advantage of public transportation. I am a big advocate of public transportation. I think it's a great way to save money, save the environment, and be able to kind of explore more of the town that your college is in. And from my knowledge, most universities have some sort of plan that's able to give students either like free rides on the subway or something, or bus tickets or what have you. So it's really it's a good resource to use. And yeah, I use public transportation as much as possible. I try to use the gym and as many resources as I can. And then lastly, I say that you should definitely take care of yourself. I know some people struggle with this in college. I think for me, I was able to kind of, with the resources that Florida State has provided for me, like free counseling, the health foods that are within the meal plans and all, I feel like I've done a lot better than I was doing in high school. My parents were working all the time, so they couldn't always keep up with the needs that I might have had, like dietary needs or counseling needs or just really any of those. So, it's really a blessing that I'm able to have access to these things. Excuse me, that I'm able to have access to these things now in college. Take care of yourself by making space for an exercise routine, walk to class, spend time outside. Given you can afford a meal plan, take advantage of the food groups you now have access to. And see a counselor on campus. I see counseling and therapy as like going to see a dentist. Even if you don't think you're having any problems, it's good to just have that kind of check-in to make, keep up with your mental health. I'm a big advocate of that as well. So, yeah, I feel like I kind of sped through that. I apologize. I can go back. I have some, anecdotes I can maybe share about some areas. If anybody has questions or interests.
Ready? Rapid fire, okay? What have been the most influential collegiate experiences that have contributed to your current success as a student?
So that's a great question. My first year of college, I was opted into the, what's it called? It's the college life coach program. So I was assigned a life coach, and I feel like my time working with her was the most all-encompassing. I was able to kind of talk to her as a friend. She was almost like a therapist to me at times, and she was able to kind of direct me towards success by helping me make a schedule and kind of reinforcing certain behaviors that would help me succeed in the rest of college. She was almost like a spiritual wellness kind of guru for me. She was really inspiring, and I can go on for the kind of differences she was able to make in my understanding of the world and my understanding of family and friends and college experiences and all. That was probably one of the most influential experiences that I had in college so far. I would say joining Renew as well has been very helpful. I think there's something that can be said about practicing what you preach or preaching what you practice. I don't know which comes first really, but with Renew, it stands for Realizing Everyone's Need for Emotional Wellness. We are a peer educator program sponsored by the University Counseling Center. And so what we do is we give individual instructional sessions or presentations to classes or students that may need some refreshers or some help or some tips on stress management, time management, study skills and all. And I think just going through, having regular practice with expressing those tips to people kind of helps reinforce what I should be doing for myself. And overall, it's a very loving community within the organization. So it's, I think it really reinforces good habits in college. Thank you for asking.
All right, okay. Do you have any time management techniques for managing 2 majors and a thesis? Big 3.
Yes. I make a to-do list every day. I make a new one every day. On like a little piece of scrap paper or whatever I use on my phone. And that kind of helps me keep track of what I need to get done by the end of the day. I also have a weekly planner, so I write out what I need to get done by the week. And I also have a Google Calendar, so I keep track of meetings and all that, through there. And so I know whenever I have free time in that online calendar, I know that I can, get done whatever's on my daily, to-do list. And that kind of helps me keep track of the two majors and also completing a thesis by the end of the semester.
Oh, wow, you have really put together. Okay. Can you talk about the benefits of this general experience as a big leader?
Right, so I love being a bid leader so much. It's my favorite, it's probably my favorite job I've ever had. I love talking to students. It really just, it brought a smile to my face every week. Even when I wasn't doing, I was having like a bad day or a bad week, but it was just really nice to like feel purposeful and feel like I might be doing something good for the people in the room with me. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying about renewal, like kind of practicing what I preach or preaching what I practice, like reinforcing my habits by letting these freshman students know this is how you succeed in school. And it kind of reminds me like, this is what I should be doing if I do want to do well in school. And yeah, I feel like it was just a really heartwarming experience. I got good feedback from my students, and I can't wait to do it again next year, or this upcoming fall. So yeah.
All right. What are your plans, if you have them, post-graduation, and is grad school anywhere in?
Right, so after graduation, I would like to, I'm gonna be taking a couple gap years to get more experience in my fields of interest. Right now, I'm applying to work for Teach for America. I've always wanted to be a teacher. My interview is in May. Hopefully I get it. This isn't wood, but not wood. And so I'll be doing that. I'm planning on also volunteering in a research lab that might be close to the school I'll be assigned to. So I can continue working with research, because I'm also very passionate about that. And then towards the end of the 2-year program that is Teach for America, considering I am working with them, if I don't work with them, I would probably go full-time working for another research lab as a research position, or in a postdoc position is what they call them. I would do that and then start applying for grad school. I believe I would be going for a PhD in experimental philosophy. That's what I'm thinking about right now. And then after that, probably a postdoc, and then maybe also teaching and working at a university. So long story short, I want to go to school forever.
That's great. Okay, we're gonna take it into a specific time frame now. You're gonna be senior next year. And what are you most looking forward to as like kind of the pinnacle ending of your undergraduate experience?
I was talking about, or I was thinking about this, but I'm really like kind of more sad to graduate than I am looking forward to. There's so many classes I want to take. Like as I was talking about like taking the cool classes that are interesting and all that, I wish I could take all of them before I really graduate. That would be ideal. But I guess what I'm excited for is the classes I will be taking my senior year. Like I said, I'm taking philosophy of arts, and also taking philosophy of language. I'm basically finishing out my philosophy side of the double major. So I'll be taking a lot of that. I was notified today that I got a position with the Center for Leadership and Social Change. So I will be a social change peer educator and also working as a community ambassador. So I'm very excited about that. I'm trying to get more involved in public policy and advocacy work, because that's another half of my professional interest in addition to research and all that. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. That's probably what I'm most excited about, is holding those positions before I graduate. Yes.
So I know that this year, you and your peers, it's been a challenge in the pandemic. So what do you think was your biggest challenge, and how do you see that you overcame that?
That's also a good question. I guess it's really hard to like I said earlier, COVID attendance versus in-person attendance. It's really easy to kind of get distracted by whatever is happening at home, while I'm supposed to be in class. Even when I'm not supposed to be in class, like managing my time and like getting my work done. It's been kind of hard, but I found that communicating with others and finding community within those struggles has helped me realize like, we can get through this. I'm not the only one going through this. It's not a reflection of me necessarily. It's a reflection of how humans deal with atrocities as such. And so that, and also just trying to continue practicing those time management techniques, like writing out what I need to be doing. I think that writing out something that needs to be done or something that you will do kind of solidifies it getting done, at least for me. It just helps me, like I said, it's like saying it 7 times again, like I will get this assignment done, I will get this assignment done, like writing it out helps me remember that, like this needs to be done. Yeah, thank you for asking.
So are you personally ready for in-person classes again? Or virtual?
I would. I've gotten too comfortable at home. I consider myself an introvert, so I remember being like, understanding kind of how horrible the pandemic was gonna be. But, I was like, oh, I get to be alone. This is kind of cool, but it really does, we're not supposed to be like, humans are kind of evolved to be around others. And I know that despite my introversion, I do much better in person, learning, engaging with others. And yeah, I'm very ready to go back in person.
So I've asked everybody this question so far in the series. So I know you have 1 year left, but if you had to pick one today, what would be your best FSU memory, your favorite?
Best FSU memory. Probably the friends that I made. I don't know if she's on the call, but at least Danielle, you showed me that she commented on the Instagram post. She's kind of like, she's really inspired me to do what I'm doing now in college. She inspired me to pick up more opportunities for new, attend more events, join clubs and under, become a big leader, get more involved in research. She's like a big sister, a friend, a mother to me. She's probably one of the best things that's happened to me in college, is meeting her and spending time with her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Allison. We greatly appreciate you sharing your experience and knowledge with us. Thank you to Liana as well for moderating. We were also very excited and pleased to be able to host some of you in person. So thank you for coming. If you logged on late or wanted to rewatch, English is hard today, to catch an answer, this session will be recorded and will be posted and shared at the conclusion of our speaker series. Please be sure to join us for any of our upcoming events. We've got 2 speakers tomorrow. For the full list of the remaining events, for information and registration, you can go to the link that will be posted in the chat. And we hope that you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.